All right, so we're back for part 2 of Bob Gomez's Fix and Flip here in Central Phoenix. Also part of your Speed Mentor program, right?
Yeah, it is.
Awesome, perfect. So he's gonna show us the finished product. We're gonna go over some numbers, update us on what happened, anything crazy in the meantime. So come on in, let's go walk through.
Yep, so if you recall, this is a house we bought that had a lot of people living in it. They had the garage divided up into different chambers, different rooms, so there must have been probably 10 people living in this place at one point in time. One of the things we did is change this window. It had an arch at the top, so it made it look very dated, so we took that window out, bought a very inexpensive dual pane window and replaced that front window to give it a more modern look. Kitchen, there was a wall here, so we opened up the wall and brought in new cabinets, and gives it a whole much more open look, more inviting.
When we were here the first time, you had just cut it out. So we didn't really have the visual yet, Daniel and I, so now it looks great seeing the final finished product.
And then on the other side is actually where you can put a nice sized kitchen table. So all the flooring in here is luxury vinyl. It's very durable, easy for especially older people if they're walking on it. It has a bit of cushion to it, so it really helps with the older people's legs and that. In the kitchen we put in all new cabinets. This set of cabinets all came from Lowe's actually. We got a deal at Lowe's on all the cabinets in here.
And I don't see a refrigerator, so when it comes to appliance packages, do you provide a fridge or you don't, and is there a reason?
And that's, you know, that's one thing I always argue with when I'm doing speed mentoring is people go out and buy the whole package with the refrigerator. Okay. Homes don't come with a refrigerator.
Got it.
And refrigerators, people are very picky about what they have as a refrigerator. They you know, some want the water in it, some want the ice, some don't want that, some want the freezer on the side, some want it on the bottom. So we just leave that. So the kitchen was, once we gutted it, it was just an open, clean slate. We had gas in here, so we put a gas stove. We vented up through the attic, up into the ceiling, up to the roof. The doors were already there, but they were in bad shape, so we refinished them and redid all the doors and all the frame. So what we discovered in this house, once we broke into the walls and that, termites. At some point in time, this house had termites. Okay. I mean, just like every house in Arizona, this was no different. It had termites, but they were left untreated for some time. No evidence of termites today, and we'll treat it as well, but we took care of some damage along.
Can you talk about that? Because us as investors here in Phoenix, like you said, it's inevitable. Every house has termites. So when we buy as is, so there's no termite inspection. Right. Sight unseen, whatever it may be you go through.
Whatever it is you buy.
So I just kind of wanted to show the people listening, right, it's not a deal killer. Or is it? What are your thoughts on termites?
Not really. I haven't found, I mean, you can find some pretty nasty damage from termites, but usually you can fix the damage. And here, unlike, let's say, California, when you have termites in California, you have to tent the whole house and put a big tent on it and have it treated. Our termites are what are called subterranean termites. Mm-hmm. So it means they're coming up from the ground, they come up into the house and they go for the wood, and then you'll see little termite trails here and there. So they can be treated by just treating around the house and then drilling into the cement and that, putting chemicals down in the concrete. House like this will cost us about $450 to treat. Okay. If this was the same house in California, it'd probably be about $3,000.
So yeah, I remember last time we were here, you had completely gutted. I know you had like a vanity in here, you guys were working in here, but the master was completely gutted, I think, in the last video. So
yeah, come on into the master. We've that all got finished. And so what we did is we had a bathtub in there originally, so you can step in there and get a shot. There was originally a bathtub. We took that out and we turned it into a very large shower.
And are you finding people prefer stand-ups in the master versus a tub? Or?
Yep, they are. In the house, we're finding that they'd like to have at least one tub, especially if it's a young family, have small kids, they want to bathe their kid in a bathtub. So we leave one bathroom with a tub, but the master, as you can see it, and you don't need to put doors on it. You can step right in and take a shower, and the water's not going to get all over the place.
What about the glass? Is that It's kind of like the fabricating question. I know that sometimes you gotta buy special pieces of glass. Or
Yeah, actually, cool thing is you order that through Amazon.
Okay, I know that. All right.
And a big sheet of glass comes
from
from Amazon. It's really inexpensive.
Amazon's great.
I have glass guys that can do that
Yeah.
kind of work, but for the price you pay in Amazon, that's tempered glass. So if you hit it, it's going to shatter in a million pieces. So it's a safety glass.
Got it.
And yeah, you can buy it right in Amazon.
Perfect. So you
Yeah,
got
it
the
comes right to your door.
dual sinks. You got the master. You got
Dual sinks. Yeah, great tip. I found a place to buy cabinets that get returned at Home Depot. They're in perfect condition. They're open boxes, and there's a place on the west side of Phoenix in Peoria that you can buy cabinets for a fraction of what you pay at the Home Depot.
Literally, I just bought a cat. Yeah. So
Yeah?
Wonderville's the same place. That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, they have
There you go.
cabinets, fans, faucets. I mean, all the things that you need. And you go there, and they're in brand new boxes. I mean, they might have been opened and returned, but they usually special orders, whatever. All Home Depot stuff.
Amazing. Yeah.
So
Gotta
it's over in Peoria.
save some money if
So you can find deals here and there. Yeah, important in the luxury vinyl you don't want to put in bathrooms, because if water, urine gets underneath it, you can't get it out, and that smell will stay there forever. So in the bathrooms, you definitely want to put tile,
Love it.
so it can easily be cleaned. So we put tile in the bathrooms.
And what about what's it cost to put flooring down? Just rough numbers.
I think for this whole house to put the vinyl, we paid about $12,000.
12,000.
Yeah.
And how many square foot?
This is about 1,300 square feet.
We have here, we got another bedroom, simple, sliding glass door.
Bedrooms are pretty straightforward, so we like putting in these 2-panel doors.
Did you put in new windows?
We put in new windows also. Again, we got very inexpensive dual pane windows, and my guy who does everything else just popped them out and put new ones in. And then the laundry room, we kind of gave it a nice, more modern look, put this kind of modern tile in, and then painted the cabinets. They were the existing cabinets. We just painted them black, put gold fixtures on it. So it really made it look more modern.
Got it.
And like I said, we have the 2-panel doors that gives it a more modern look, levered handles. And these again, these I will tell you, they're ordered through Amazon. They're pretty inexpensive. Tip on all the locks: buy smart key locks. They are quick set smart key. It allows you to rekey them and key them all alike. So normally you have a house and you got 10 million keys because you bought all these different locks and that. If you use smart key, you then key them all the same. You do yourself, you don't need a locksmith. This is the garage that had, I think it had 3 rooms over here and probably 2 rooms over here and a room up in here. It was all drywalled in. I don't know if you saw that, but that door was just, it was there, but drywalled in. And they turned this into like mini hotel.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. And I think you said there were doors over here. They had their own entryways.
And there was another entryway over here. This also has its own air conditioning unit. So they had air conditioning for this little section, this little hotel. So here's the control, and there's a separate unit.
So you have 2 units on this house.
So it's kind of a bonus for whoever buys it. They can have an air conditioned garage.
Is it duct to the main house, or is it just
Nope,
duct?
strictly duct over here. Doesn't go anywhere else.
Flooring looks like you.
Yeah, we epoxied the floor, gives it a nice new look. You know, painted it and textured and re-textured the ceiling, and that made it, because it was a mess when we
Yeah, I can
got
imagine.
it. So our total cost, we estimated would be somewhere around 65, and we're at 70.
Got it.
So we're
Right on.
we're pretty close to where we thought we would be. And in the beginning, when I'm taking someone through the speed mentoring, we can build a budget. We know pretty close just by walking it, listing what we got to buy, going on Home Depot or whatever, and pricing it all out. I have a spreadsheet that everybody uses, plugs in the numbers. We pretty much know what the cost is going to be. The only fudge factor is labor, and then unknowns like when we tear open a wall, what kind of electrical issue, plumbing issue we might have, but we kind of budget for that too. List price is $548,500.
548.
Probably a little bit above what current market is, but we know we're going to have to give incentives in our current market. So we just had our lender do some packages on incentives. So I can buy down interest rate which helps the buyer more than me giving a discount. Costs me less to do that. So the net effect of me buying down to a 5.5% interest rate is the effective price to that buyer is like $492 versus $585.
Got it.
And then there's some other programs we can do to buy down the interest even lower than that.
Okay.
And again, for the buyer, it's a much better deal if they're financing to get the interest rate bought down rather than just get a discount on the price.
In two key points he said there. One, he's working with a great lender that can share these things with you, right? I'm sure you pick this up as you go, but when you have that lender that's creative, when interest rates drive up, they come up with creative ways to get home buyers into houses. And another important thing Bob said was the concessions. I think our last market update mentioned it was about I was like, I thought your clients were coming in. Then that one shot, I was like, no one's in here. Concessions, right? I think in the Phoenix market right now, about 50% of sales are having concessions.
Yes.
So you got to budget in for that, right? So
Exactly. So for the buyer who's saying, I'm going to wait, I think prices are going to drop. I think the interest rates will drop. They're doing themselves a disservice. The projections are that prices are not going to be dropping. There is so much pent-up demand. Interest rates possibly will drop towards the summer.
Okay.
But the thing is, buy today, you can always refinance tomorrow, and it doesn't really hurt you to do that.
Yeah.
So you can take advantage of the pricing that you have today and buy today and then refinance later. I did that on my first house. My first house, I paid 16% interest.
Yeah.
And as soon as the rates dropped, I was refinancing. I probably refinanced on my first house 3 times.
Hey,
And all within a 2-year period of time.
wow. And then I guess in that first part, like those first couple of years, it's not that big of a deal because you're not
Yeah.
paying any interest.
Yeah.
Or principal.
Yeah, you're not really paying down principal, you're paying all interest.
I think I saw a stat. It was like when rates were 7%, like I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. They haven't dropped till. So if you're sitting around waiting, you know what I mean. You could be waiting forever. So our discussion here though is a lot on the end buyer, right? I think in the first video you thought, so who's your customer and who's going to walk into this house and buy this house? So that's why you need a professional real estate agent, you need a team, you got to have your lender. I keep pointing here, which we'll plug it. We'll plug Des on here, but your team. So how important is your team, Bob?
Yeah, important, very important. Like when we acquire the house and we decide what we're going to do with it, we look at what the market is demanding, and so I bring someone. My partner Lisa, she's very good at designing and picking things out and that sort of thing. So we try to build the house or redo the house for the market, for who's, what we do here is different than what we would do in, say, Glendale. It's different than what we would do maybe in Scottsdale.
Yep.
So every area of the city would be different.
Love it, man. So anything crazy happened in between the last video and now? Like any just standard, any work changes or change orders or?
No. I think the only major thing is we had an outlet put in for the microwave, above the microwave, and we went to put in the vent for the microwave, and the vent was right in front of the plug.
Okay.
So we couldn't plug in the microwave, so we had to back off and redo the plug and have the electrician back out. So a little expensive, a little more of an expense, but nothing major.
The way I look at it is, if you're thinking about getting into fix and flipping or wherever you may be, your little analysis paralysis, it's not HGTV, there's no crazy stories, your roof didn't blow off, there's no fake staging going on here. Yes, you had some cool stories, but ultimately, if you have your right team, you do your numbers right up front, you buy the property right, usually smooth sailing. Now when I say smooth, it's not deep.
You have little things that come along, but
Yeah, nothing you can't handle.
the important thing is to build your budget before you even buy the place. You want to build a pretty tight budget so you know what you're getting into. So many times I've seen people that are new buy, they have no budget, they just start fixing, and before you know it, they're way over budget. And you get the story. Well, I learned a lot, but I didn't make any money.
Yeah. Not the business we're in.
So we try to make sure we don't.
Businesses don't last long when they don't make money.
Well, maybe you can make it up in volume.
Yeah. Yeah. But by the time you get that, if you're new, by the time you get to that volume.
Yeah, you make it up in volume. It's a loss leader.
Yeah, there you go.
Now we sold it for a loss because we're gonna try to sell more. I don't know. The yards, we kind of, and I learned this the hard way. We kind of try to clean it up, but leave it so that the new owner can come in and they can do what they would like to do to the yard. In the early days, I would come in and just totally redo the yard and put all this gravel in and all that. And I remember selling a house and the guy said, God, it's too bad they put all this gravel in because I really want grass. I go, okay, that's a lesson learned. Make it clean, make it look nice. And here what we did is it needed to be cleaned up. So we cleaned it up, put in some gravel and leaving it for the new owner.
There's a time for that though, right? Like it's market specific. I think when the rates double, you might have to look better or if you have a lot of competition.
Yeah. If I have a lot of competition, I may have to.
Yeah, so that's a wrap. That's Bob Grobez. This is his Fix and Flip. So you saw before, now you saw after. If you want to get to know Bob a little bit more or be in the real estate investing community, you can check out AZREIA, Arizona Real Estate Investors Association. So azrea.org/calendar will show you about 15 events a month, all about real estate investing that we hold. And most importantly, on the last Wednesday of every month, Bob has the Fix and Flip subgroup. So if that's your world, Bob, what do you do there?
Tomorrow night.
Wow, it's tomorrow night. This might not be out tomorrow.
Yeah,
we're trying.
It's the last Wednesday of the month. I always try to keep it the same night so everybody's known. That's been for 20 years. The last Wednesday of the month. We take a couple months off, but the last Wednesday. We always cover the same kind of topics. What's going on in the market for interest rates? What's going on in hard money lending? Most of us use hard money to buy our properties. We generally have a topic of some sort. It could be on, fixing up kitchens. It could be on any one of a number of things that relates to fixing and flipping. So we'll have other guests come in and speak and cover those topics.
Awesome. Always a great event. It's always a great night. I think we had like 50 people there last month, so make sure to pre-register in advance so you make sure you got your ticket. Otherwise, that's a wrap. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Bob. Good.